Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Traders Mindchat show. I'm Mike Lamott, your host, and today I want to talk to you about something that most traders experience, and it's something I'm actually walking through right now myself. How do you trade well when life pressure is high? When the temptation to force trades or overcompensate is strong? I'll share what I've learned and what I'm practicing so you can navigate these seasons well. This is something that's very real for me at the moment. I'm in a season of life where pressure, family dynamics, business needs, financial goals, vocation, all of that is in play right now. I know many of you are in a similar season yourself, and this is exactly when the discipline gap shows up in our trading. So today is not about perfection, it's not about theory, it's about practical ways to protect clarity and discipline when life gets loud. So let's let's start things off. There's a few common traps that I think a lot of us can fall into, and I've fallen into all these at one point or another, and actively battling against falling into these. So if any of these resonate with you, just go ahead and type into the chat. Let us all know that we're not alone here. So the first one is over trading. Over trading. You've been patient, and then all of a sudden, life pressure spikes, and you suddenly feel, I need to make trades now, right? All of a sudden, those trades that are, they're not quite your A level trades. Maybe they're an A minus, maybe they're a B plus. Maybe it's only lacking a couple of check boxes you like to see. You know the kind of trades that I'm talking about. You start to go for those kinds of trades and you start forcing these marginal setups just so, well, if we're honest with ourselves, so that way we can start to feel progress. It feels like we're doing something. And that's when those bigger drawdowns can start to happen. Why is that? We're off process. That's that's really the reason why. Another thing that can lead to overtrading as well, uh, when we're in that field. Maybe it's not that it's not our A level setup. Maybe we see somebody else's A level setup. Maybe we're in some Discord group, or maybe we're looking at social media or somewhere else, and somebody else that we really respect posts about a trade, and it's their A level setup. But when we if we take the time really to take a look at what their setup is versus what our setup is, does it really match? Does it match 100% what are we completely aligned? Or do we say, "Ah, you know what? This person really knows what they're talking about. They seem like they're a little bit on a roll. You know what? Let me just take that person's trade and put that on for myself. See how it goes. Maybe I'll catch lightning in a bottle." That is another kind of overtrading. Here's another common trap. Let me know if you've fallen into this one. I've certainly have fallen into this one. I've gotten a little bit better at moderating this one for myself, but oversizing, it's very common when we feel the need to win, the temptation to size up beyond what our plan says is very high. Let's say that we're in a cycle where maybe your uh, your typical allocation is 10% of your capital, right? So if you're trading, you would have maybe about 10 positions maximum. So instead of saying, "Oh, you know what? Uh, I need to make some progress." So instead of trading at that 10% allocation, well, why don't I double it? Well, why don't I go up to 20%? This looks like a really good trade. Well, let's just double it and see what happens. That kind of sizing up, if it doesn't go our way, that's something that can help us dig a hole. And when these kinds of emotions are high, when we feel like we've got to make progress, that's the kind of thing that tends to creep in. Another thing too, maybe instead of allowing 1% of capital being at risk, maybe I bump it up to 2 or maybe even 3, just give this one a little bit more wiggle room because it's this stock that I really believe in. I've been following this one for a real long time. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever given a trade a little bit more room, taken on a little bit more risk because, well, it's this name and it's a leader that I've been tracking forever. If you've done that, type into the chat and let me know. I've been guilty of that, one too many times. And it's a problem. It's a problem that I actively bring myself back away from, and we'll get into those solutions in a moment. But I want to give you two more of these traps that are so common and so pervasive that when when you're in the moment of dealing with all these life pressures, they have a tendency to kind of sneak in and feel like a solution when in fact they're the very thing that might be keeping us from achieving what it is that we want to achieve. So the next one up is system hopping. System hopping. System hopping is big, especially when under pressure. Traders start to doubt their system and start to look for those quick fixes. It's almost akin to what we said, well, with over trading, when your system might not be showing high quality trade at the moment. It's not that the system is broken, it's just that the system's really doing what it's designed to do. It's meant to show you high quality trades, and if there are none, well, it's really up to our discipline to continue to follow that system and sit and wait. Well, if the bills need to get paid, or there's some other kind of pressure to act now, then it might be, you know what, this says to sit on my hands. Okay, well, what if I find something else that's pretty good too, and I put on a trade in that other system, right? Now maybe I even go so far as to start to plan out. Well, maybe I'll build this system and I will build another trading account. Keep them separated and start trading this other system. Not forever, just for right now, just while things are dry. There's a couple of hoops. I don't know if you picked this up. Let me know if you picked this up. But there were just a couple of uh, mental gymnastics that my mind just went through in that. Right, like you kind of have this idea of, oh well, let me build this other system over here, and so I'm crafting it. It's well planned out, or so it is in my mind, and it's only going to be for this time. But what's the true motivation in making those that kind of shift? It's not where we have a stable system and we're trying to scale. No, it's done more so out of a almost a desperation, and that's that's a very dangerous place to be. And one of the reasons why that it could be a dangerous place to be too, aside from just not really knowing that much about the system, testing it out, needing it to work, hoping for it to work, praying for it to work, is that our attention is now diverted to this new system and trying to make something work. And when our attention is over here trying to get this new system to work, it's quite possible, and I've seen this happen all too many times too, where our original system that's designed and well thought out and was just in one of these seasons where it's time to sit and wait, well, then all of a sudden that system is ready and it starts to move, but our focus is over here. And because our focus is over here, we're missing what's happening over here in our system, in our original system. And we turn around and look and uh-oh, time to quickly shift gears. And then that's how we hop back. It's how we end up over trading more. And it could even lead into this other, this fourth trap, which is emotion driven decisions. Each one of these, you can see how these all kind of link together. You start exiting trades a little bit too early when on an emotional whim. Maybe you start chasing trades a little bit late. Maybe you start ignoring stops because the market becomes your pressure release valve. That yeah, I say you and your, but it's really us and our, right? Because I'm dealing with all the same kinds of stuff that everybody else is. And it's not where I'm completely immune to any of this stuff. I give myself constant reminders. I have cards on my desk. I have notes floating around my office that I'm reviewing and looking at each day to constantly remind myself of everything that we're talking about here, because it's in doing that, it's in trying to submit these mindsets where they start to stick. The market really doesn't care about any of the pressures that we're feeling. The only thing that the market really does is it punishes undisciplined behavior. So if you've seen any of this yourself in any of these, know that you're definitely not alone. This is, well, this is typical. It's a typical path under life pressures unless you actively choose otherwise. I want to just take a moment and see. I see a few things popping up in the chat here. I see Market Insights. Welcome, Caleb. Welcome. Caleb mentions doubling down on Hood last Friday, but the stop loss was tight and my other gains financed the risk, so it worked out. I did it after a short consolidation period, not averaging down. Caleb, yeah, Caleb is actually one of our accelerator members. The great guy, has come an extremely long way, plans out his trades, and you know, yeah, Caleb, you said that I could mention this part too in a newsletter, but I'll just briefly mention here too. Caleb's mentoring his son on how to trade, and I think that that's such a beautiful thing. Young, very young, 9 or 10 years old, and it's God's work, right? Taking the knowledge that we have, passing it down to younger generations. I absolutely love seeing that. So when Caleb talks about this trade in Hood and doubling down, it's not the types of things that are done on a whim. There's history and there's process and there's planning involved. Pressing an edge with a plan backing it up, that's the kind of thing that professionals do. And that's the kind of thing that we want to be able to get to be able to make trading something that can pay us well over time. That's really one of the secrets to it. The difference is when we're scaling up without a plan, or we're scaling up and maybe we do have a plan, but we're scaling up with a sense of desperation where oh man, I'm really hoping that this works out. It's kind of there. Let's just put it on and really hope for the best, right? Like even when the planet is there and it's so emotionally charged, it can be a dangerous place to be at. And I speak from my own experience too. When we're in that uh, when we're in that situation, managing risk and allowing our default to be to fall back on the plan and manage risk like a hawk, it's so super important, and it's something that, well, we really need to drive this discipline down every single day and make that part of it, this whole mindset component of it, something that is a daily practice. Do it religiously. So again, I share with you that I'm in a season of higher life pressure right now. And this is exactly why, when it comes to doubling down, the thing that I'm doubling down on is protecting process. Because when we abandon structure, and when we abandon structure under pressure, can almost guarantee getting stuck, staying stuck. So, what this What this looks like for me is very simple. I've had the urge to take on more risk and force trades and doubling down in the past. What my blueprint, this ebook that I wrote, the Trading Success Blueprint, what that's helped me to do is to take all these processes that I've had in my mind and put them down on paper. So that way, well, when it comes time to execute, I'm not trying to think back and think through all this fog of emotion. No, I have something where I could just go and flip to it and say, here's what my plan says. It's something that I can review as the day goes on. And it's a lot more than just a trading plan that says, you enter here, you exit there, here's my profit targets, how I'm going to size, things like that. It encompasses everything. It encompasses all the trade management. It encompasses the risk management of our systems. All the fail safes, fallbacks. What happens if the lights go out? What happens if there's something that's going on with a broker? What happens if we're in a trade and then all of a sudden the trade is kind of good but not great, and it's just kind of meandering about? Well, all these kind of iffy ones where if we are in an emotional state, eh, the answer isn't quite clear, and because it's not clear, we might end up making an emotional decision rather than a process-based decision. That's what the blueprint is all about. Now, that's why I encourage everybody to take time to write out your blueprint, your trading business plan. And I know that a trading business plan, that could sound like, it could sound overwhelming, especially if like, I'm not a business person. Well, what do I know about writing out this business plan? It sounds like I've got to write a book or this 10, 20 page thing. It doesn't have to be all that long. And that's why I wrote this blueprint, this ebook called the Trading Success Blueprint. So that way it could walk you through step by step on how to make this plan for yourself. I'll drop the link into the chat for you guys. It's marawolf.com/blueprint if you want to go pick up a copy. And it's something that I believe in, and it's something that I believe will help you. Something else that I think that's very helpful too is leaning in on community and not trying to just white knuckle all this stuff alone. One of the things that can really keep us grounded is when we are around other people that are on a similar path to us. They are cultivating similar mindsets, that are trading perhaps in a similar way. Those kinds of things can help to keep us grounded. But it's not just having the a similar style, right? Because there's plenty of people that might have similar styles to us. Well, we all follow loads of people over on X, maybe follow a few different YouTube accounts. And well, when you start to have uh, those kinds of influences around, it it's good and it's bad. It's good because you could see how other people are operating. It's bad because sometimes we could start to compare ourselves and start to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I should be doing more of what that guy's doing. This person is posting about their wins. That person's posting about their wins. It's very seldom that you hear about people detailing about losses or things that aren't working. And it's also difficult to dialogue with people straight up on YouTube or straight up over on X. It's a lot easier to dialogue with people when you have a tight knit community and actually sit down and talk to people either one on one in a Google Meet or in a small group setting or even in a small group Discord. That's what we have over in our accelerator program where people could dialogue and meet on the weekend, and that's something that's also very helpful too. And well, we also have two, one brand new Mara ambassador that came on. His name's Anthony. He's a former former accelerator member, now come back and is one of our ambassadors. He's doing great. He's talking about his processes and tactics inside the group, things that have worked for him, things that have worked for him part time while building his own business up in Canada. It's amazing. And then we have Stu that just got back from Cyprus. He is one of our coaches. He was also a former Accelerator member, now Mara coach, and he's doing exceptionally well for himself too. Honestly, this guy could be in the Unknown Market Wizards books, given his track record over the last several years that he's been around it, and he's somebody else that's also very process driven, and somebody else that also managing work life and then having trading, and trading is getting to a point where it's far surpassing what he's making at his job too. So all that stuff is amazing. So let's talk about some practical keys here, right? Some practical keys, things that can help us get over all those different traps. Number one, we need to protect clarity. We don't want to expand risk just because life pressure is high. One of the things that can happen if we start to expand risk is that risk is something that works geometrically against us, meaning that if we take a 10% loss, it takes 11% to get back to even. That doesn't sound so bad, but then all of a sudden you take a 25% loss. It takes about 33% to get back to even. You take a 50% loss. All of a sudden it takes us 100% to get back to even. That's getting into the realm of insurmountable. It might not be it might not be impossible, but it's going to take a very long time just to claw our way back to even. And if we're in a spot where we need the money, right? It's not where we're just trying to grow a nest egg over time, over many many years, but we need this money now, and we dig ourselves into a hole. Well, it's going to take us longer to get out of that hole. Why? Because if we need to start to compound that right away, and at the same time take profits out, then how is that account ever going to compound again? So the best thing that we could do is to not dig that hole in the first place. Protect clarity. Do not expand risk just because that life pressure is getting high. Number two, we need to give ourselves permission to sit out when the edge isn't there. This isn't, it's not a weakness to sit out if the edge isn't there. It's actually a strength. It's actually discipline in action. It's actually how professionals make most of their gains. They make most of their gains not by constantly being active, but by being active when the window of opportunity is there, stepping on the gas, and then when the window closes, quickly dialing things back down, sitting and waiting. Sometimes it takes a while for that window to open. Sometimes that window is only open for a very brief period and then it gets slammed back shut. Part of what we do in trading is to watch that window, see when that window is open, when it's shutting, and adjust accordingly. That's our job. Watch the window. Number three, lean in on structure. The blueprint thinking guides trades, not emotions. That's the big part of why we want to make this blueprint for ourselves. So that way we have something where we could just crack it open, read what's there daily. That way, when it comes time to go off and execute, we know exactly what to do. And when the emotions start to run high, we don't need to guess in the moment. We could go back to the blueprint, see what's there, and execute accordingly and have all that thought out, written out, think through loads of what if scenarios. And the funny thing too, when we think through all these what if scenarios, it makes them a lot less scary. The best way to think through the what if scenarios and to also remind ourselves of what those answers were to the what if scenarios is to take the time to write it down. Number four, stay connected to community. Isolation can breed very poor decisions. The reason why it could breed very poor decisions is because sometimes we could just get in our own head too much. If we don't have a community or anybody where we could bounce ideas off of, be a gut check for us, we could sometimes get ourselves into some trouble. We might be hearing whispers, not from something that has our best interest in mind, but something that might have something else in mind for us. When we have others that we could talk with, other guides, other mentors, other community members that we could talk to, it could help us stay on the straight and narrow. And lastly, when it comes to journaling, right? I'm a big proponent of journaling. We want to journal our systems, and we also want to journal our feelings too. So before each trade, we want to journal, what does my system say? What does fear say? Well, what does this emotion that I'm feeling right now, what does that say? Take time, journal it down. Maybe if you have a pen and paper and a notepad, use that. If you have index cards, right? I've got a stack of index cards on my desk. Use those, right? Just get these notes out and collect them. It doesn't have to be this big formal process. Just get it out of your head and onto the page. That'll give you a foundation to to build off of. You could organize it later. You could improve the process, the whole journaling thing later. Just get it out of your head onto the paper. And we'll close with this. We'll close with this. If any of this resonates, if you felt life pressure bleeding into your trading, now is the time to recommit to clarity and recommit to structure. That's really what the blueprint is built to help you with. And if you're ready for the accelerator program that I mentioned earlier, or if you're already in it, lean in. Lean in. This is what we're modeling every single day. The goal is never to trade just for the sake of trading. The goal is to trade better, especially when life gets loud. So if you want the tools and support we talked about, and if you want to walk with us, I'd love for you to join us. The blueprint is the foundation. The accelerator is where we practice together. And for those of you that are already in the accelerator, I'll see you in the Discord after the show. And for everybody else, I hope that you enjoyed this. Leave your comments in the comment section. If you have other questions or anything, I read all the comments, so leave them there. And I'll see you all next time. Take care, much love, and as always, God bless.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the Mara Wealth community. And make sure that you check out some of the other videos on the channel. They're exactly what you need to see. And leave a comment down below. I read all of them. Leave a comment.